Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. How are you? It's Veronica here from Vintage Meet Modern, and I am very excited because we are starting a new series called The Joy of Jewelry, which celebrates your love of vintage jewelry and also introduces you to some amazing women who wear it. We're also going to be from time to time chatting with people who can help you make better decisions about the pieces that you're investing in. And we'll also be sharing with you some tips and tricks along the way. Today's show is sponsored by our amazing Facebook community, the Vintage Meet Modern Styling Society, which there's a link in the comments. And there is also a link above. And we would love for you to go ahead and join us because this unique and amazing community is full of stylish women from all over the world that love to talk about vintage jewelry, love to wear vintage jewelry, but they all love to wear it with their modern life. So I'm very excited because we are actually kicking off this interview series with someone who is very special and very near and dear to me, the beautiful and lovely Kaitlin Thibodeau. If you haven't met Kaitlin yet, it's because you're not in our group and you need to go ahead and join us. Kaitlin is actually a community manager for us over at Vintage Meet Modern, and she also helps out with communications. But the interesting thing is she is going to be helping me answer some of the questions that you have been sending in for a long time. Like, how do you get into vintage jewelry? How can you actually wear it? Who are real women who do wear vintage jewelry? And maybe some tips and tricks that if you're just beginning to collect, or maybe you've inherited something, can actually make it easy, wearable, fun, and stylish. So I'd like to give a warm welcome to our special guest today. She is joining us live from Virginia. And let's go ahead and say hello to Kaitlin.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you. We're so excited to have you. So Kaitlin, you and I have been working together and have known each other for just a little bit more than 6 months. Mm-hmm. And you impressed me right away with your style before you even became part of the Vintage Meet Modern team. And so I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you're up to, and let's just get a moment to get to know you.
Yeah, so I'm Kaitlin Thibodeau, and I currently live in Virginia with my husband, our 2 dogs, and a cat that our Aussie found in the backyard. We are expecting a baby boy in July, and I currently work as a strategic communication specialist / PR extraordinaire from home, and I service clients online, and Veronica is my client. So I'm very excited to be able to share some fun knowledge that I've been learning in just the past 6 months of working with you, Veronica, and some style tips as well.
So you came to help Vintage Meet Modern, but you stayed for the jewelry, right?
Yes. So it's funny. I never really wore vintage. I mean, I've worn thrift store clothing, and a lot of my baby's clothes are going to be from Goodwill and secondhand stores because a lot of it babies don't even wear often. Matter of fact, the shirt that I'm wearing right now is maternity shirt from Goodwill, but you can't, I mean, it's hardly worn. You can't even tell. And I styled it with some Vintage Meet Modern earrings that are clip-on. And a lot of my clothing is secondhand, and I've really gone away from just buying. So I've learned a lot in the past 6 months, and just added on by accessorizing. So
I absolutely love that. So let's just have a quick chat about that, as long as you brought up that important point. What do you feel is important to get over debunking that myth that secondhand is either uncool, or it's not popular, or it's not in vogue enough for a modern day woman to be able to embrace it as part of their real style?
For sure. I mean, I thought about it, and I donate to Goodwill all the time, and I like to think that the things that I'm donating are things that other people will want, and because I like them, why wouldn't somebody else? So then I got to thinking, well, if I'm looking at these great Goodwill and thrift stores to donate to, I'll start shopping there as well. And I started doing some digging, and a lot of these items either still have the clothes on them or the tags on them, hardly look worn, and are a lot of name brand designers that you have to pay, triple, quadruple the prices. And I was getting it for sometimes under $20.
Yeah, I think it's just incredible the way that we discard things so easily. I think I recently read that we donate up to 80 pounds of clothes per year per person, which I think is just crazy.
It's insane. And I mean, I have a walk-in closet, and just going through it, I felt a relief because I was getting rid of stuff, but the stuff that I was buying from Goodwill or thrift didn't necessarily cost a lot, and I could wear it much longer because I was buying it at a fraction of the price. So it feels good knowing that all of my things that I'm donating, whether it's to my church or a local shelter or to Goodwill, it's not going to a landfill per se. And the myth about wearing secondhand, oh, it's not cool. You just wash it. Really, often these stores aren't going to take an item that smells smoky or that's covered in dog hair. They're going to take quality items. So why not? If you like it and it looks great on you, then style it up.
Awesome. That was going to be my next question. My follow-up question for that is, so do you love the pieces that you buy?
From thrift stores?
Yeah.
Yes. So my mom has actually gotten me into thrift shopping for the baby, and it's amazing. We'll look up these brands online and they're triple the price on Etsy, or it'll be something that was sold at Macy's that still has the tags on it for $40. And you think, man, my baby might wear this twice, if that. So why not buy it at a thrift store? And a lot of these tops, like this one, I think might be from the Loft. I have quite a few from J. Crew, and some of them aren't even name brand necessarily, but they just look great. And I hardly paid anything for it, so that's exciting.
That is amazing. And I love being able to chat with other people who understand that just because it might be useful to not be useful to you anymore doesn't mean that it isn't useful to someone else, which is actually one of the principles that we love and we talk about a lot here at Vintage Meet Modern. I mean, behind the scenes and both in person when we're working with customers, a lot of questions we get asked are, where are the pieces from? How do you know so much about them? And, it's always a lot of fun to be able to chat about how that they come from different estates. Some of them come from auctions. Some of them come from collectors that are downsizing their collection. But I really want to talk about is how someone like you, who did not wear vintage jewelry actually before you even started working here, who introduced you to it, and how did you even begin to start to think about, well, I do think that I could rock this with my J. Crew top. I do think that I could wear this with my Ann Taylor Loft sweater. So tell me a little bit about your journey into how you got started with actually wearing it.
It's funny because I watched your recent interview on Latasha James' podcast, and you said, you were in your grandmother's jewelry box and you remember being there as a kid and you guys had fond memories. And I thought about it, and where it first started was with my great grandmother, Kelly, which was my maiden name. And I remember being in Walla Walla, Washington, and all the other kids were downstairs playing in her basement. And here I am just diving into the earrings that matched the necklace, that matched the bracelet. And from there, I had a collection of it, but my younger cousins just used it for dress up. And then flash forward, my grandmother passed away last fall, and we were going through all of her jewelry and all of her clothes. And she worked at the Gap. She was a very stylish woman. So I took a lot of her clothes and still wear her clothes to this day. And she was in her 70s, so it was kind of exciting. And She had a ton of vintage jewelry that she had also had passed down from her family. So I actually have a big bag of it to still go through, and it was perfect timing. Right when I got that bag, you and I started to work together, and I was exposed to Vintage Meet Modern, and I didn't understand that, wow, vintage jewelry, it could still be cool. And I love big earrings and fun, big statement necklaces. And it's amazing how just one piece of jewelry can really spice up a boring sweater.
Oh, I love that. So you mentioned you're an earring girl. So generally, and that was a really awesome, amazing story that you also just told about your grandmother. It sounds very similar to mine in that I always talk about how that all the other kids were off playing and that I got to play in my grandmother's jewelry box, and that inspired my love. But
Right.
I think that that's one of the amazing things is that, I am very sorry for your loss. I know that you've only recently, within the last year, have lost your grandmother, but do you also get to feel like you're more connected to her by being able to still wear those pieces that are hers?
Oh, totally. I mean, and I even have some like Swarovski crystals that weren't hers, but she went to auctions all the time. And I have pictures of when I would visit for the summers, and we'd go to auctions together, and we'd have our big trunk of treasures, whether it was jewelry or furniture or what have you. And it's amazing looking back and thinking, okay, well, these weren't necessarily her earrings, but these were some of her treasured auction finds. So I do definitely feel connected when I wear a piece of her clothing or a piece of her jewelry, and it truly makes me smile and feel like she's always with me.
That is awesome. And actually, you can probably teach us all something here. Do you know that I don't even do auctions? They make me too nervous. So
Really?
that is amazing that you have these memories of going to the auction with your grandmother. I'm always worried that I'm going to be the person that's going to raise my paddle or is just going to keep bidding up until I come home and like get a bill for like $1 million. So
Well, I totally bid on a magazine holder that we were going to refurbish, and I thought it was the one she wanted, and she had gotten up to go to the restroom, and she comes back and she goes, that wasn't even the one I wanted. So we went home with two, but it definitely, there's a high at those auctions. And
oh my gosh. Well, but there is a high, I think, and also now since you have an opportunity that you do get to work behind the scenes here at Vintage Meet Modern also is there's a little bit of high in seeing when the collections are going to come out or like when we're first putting them together also, as I think everybody here kind of falls in love with something that they see before we even get to show the rest of the world with it. We're always like, oh my gosh, like they're going to love that piece. Likewise, I would say, wouldn't you agree that there are pieces that we go, gosh, I just can't believe that we still have that?
I was literally just thinking that. I mean, in the collection that is about to retire on, end of the month, end of February, there's some pieces in there that I've been eyeing forever. And if they don't get snagged up, I might just have to purchase them. And it's amazing getting a behind the scene look at how all of this works and how much work goes into that you put into finding these pieces. And they aren't junk. I mean, they're vintage, but they're quality pieces. And it's amazing. I mean, these, again, they're vintage, but they hardly even look worn. The clasp, everything is perfectly, I mean, it's just amazing. So all of the pieces, being able to see all of the uniqueness of it and being a part of it, it doesn't feel like work at all. I love it.
We love having you here and you do such a good job. Let's talk about that though a little bit. So you just mentioned that you really weren't a big vintage jewelry person. And yes, you do fall in love with it the more you work around it and the more that you see it. But what kind of pieces do you find yourself personally gravitating towards as somebody who is kind of new to learning about the quality, the different types of it, those types of things? So what do you personally look for when you're looking at our collection as somebody who's just beginning to dabble in it as something that they're also going to become a collector and then also wearing it as something to jazz up your outfit, make you look and feel like your best?
I like a variety. I mean, I love big, bold earrings and statement necklaces. I also like to see what other people and members in the Styling Society VIP group like. So, I mean, it's a free group on Facebook. Why not join it and connect with all of Vintage Meet Modern customers and soon-to-be customers, but I really love seeing what the women in there choose, because then it opens my mind up to thinking, oh, I have an outfit that would look great with that particular necklace or a brooch. And now I'm more open to pieces that I wouldn't necessarily have ever eyed if I just saw in a random ad, especially when you do your live videos and you show up close and personal looks of different pieces and how to style them and wear them. I would have never thought that you could clip, I mean, this is a perfect size. You could clip it as a brooch and wear it in different ways around your neckline. And it's just amazing. You think, okay, earrings are earrings, but no, they're not. You can wear earrings as a brooch or brooch as a necklace. And it's amazing because I've actually gravitated more towards those pieces that I never would have thought I wanted until you explained all about them.
Well, I mean, certainly I take a lot of pride, the stylist and myself, of being able to do that. But I do love that you pointed out what you try to gravitate towards, because I think that it's really important from a style perspective for you to be able to push those boundaries. I love being able to have that conversation with other people, because it is really important to see how other people wear it, not just as an example of how they're wearing it, but also to support them too, because we're all really unique in this personal style journey of ourselves. So when it comes to your personal style, talk to us a little bit about that. Like, how do you dress on a regular basis that you feel that it's really easy to change your look with accessories?
Well, now that I'm not in the corporate world, when I was in the corporate world last July, I was always wearing, name brand dresses from thrift stores, TJ Maxx, that sort of thing. And I would spice it up with a statement necklace. But I didn't like to spend a whole lot on jewelry. And then when I found Vintage Meet Modern last fall, it was amazing, because you think, okay, well, these earrings were not that expensive, and I get to wear them with a variety of outfits. Here it is February, but I can also wear them in the spring with a fun, solid pattern or solid dress, a fun blouse. So I try to find pieces really that will match with a variety of outfits and a variety of seasons. And most pieces I've seen at Vintage Meet Modern fit into that category.
Oh, I love that. That's a very nice compliment for you to pay us as well. So I do appreciate you telling us that. For those of you who might be out there listening or joining us or something like that, I also want to ask you, you are new to wearing vintage jewelry, but you're also new to wearing clip earrings.
Yes.
And I do get a lot of questions about how to make clip earrings more comfortable. And I have my own tips and tricks, but I want to hear from somebody who is a newbie to wearing clip earrings. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about them? Do you do anything to make them more comfortable for yourself? Do you have any suggestions for people who might be new to wearing them? Talk to us about your journey about venturing into wearing clip earrings. And then I'll give my 2 cents too.
Yeah. So, I mean, every pair is definitely different. Like, these, I don't need a pad because they're comfortable, and the way my earlobe is shaped, it's just perfect for them. I have another pair that has some rhinestones on it, and they're more of the ear climbers. So for those, I have these pads that Vintage Meet Modern sells, and they're super easy. I just stick them to the back of the earring, clip on, and I can wear them all night. I know the first time I wore them, I was like, ooh, they did kind of hurt my ears, because my ears are a bit smaller. But once I got the pads, I mean, they were super comfortable, and it makes it easy for wear because you can just slip them right off and on, and it's just simple.
So I'm really glad that you mentioned that it really, for you, depends on the earring, because you just mentioned right now, the ones that you have on right now, you haven't added any extra silicone backing to them. You haven't added any earring pads. I do know personally which pair of earrings you're talking about. They're those really big couture style vintage Swarovski ones. And those are giant earrings. So those are people that I would say in general, if you've never been wearing clip earrings before, you might want to check out some clip slips or some clip earring pads to kind of make them more comfortable. But it is true. It's all dependent on your ear shape. but I'm glad. Do you think that most women can wear clip earrings comfortably?
Oh, most certainly. I mean, if you look at a lot of the earrings nowadays, Target came out with their new line, and I was thinking, wow, those tassels look fun, and the plastic looks great, and it's got great patterns. But then you pick it up, and you're like, wow, this really won't last. Those tassels are going to fall off, and it's cheaply made. I mean, I love Target, but there's just things are not made like they used to be made. They used to be made, and when you look at vintage and the quality of it and the design and the fact that you think, wow, I'm wearing earrings from the 1950s and they still fit perfectly, they still look beautiful, and it's easy to incorporate in my everyday style.
Now you raise a very good point. So you're going to be a new mama in July. And how are you going to keep looking and feeling your best throughout the rest of your pregnancy?
Well, with lots of prayer first, and hopefully I can get outside for a few fresh air walks. But I think it's so important to, shower when you can, and just, usually I straighten my hair and I'm more styled, but I am at home and I haven't been feeling my best this week, but I just threw on a little bit of blush, a little bit of mascara, and again, the earrings, and I feel great. It's a simple sweater, again, is secondhand, and I think it's just important to remember that even if you add a small piece of jewelry or a bracelet or something little, it does change your whole day. I know that there's some days where I'll sit at home and I won't wear makeup and we'll have team meetings, and I don't think personally that I perform as well when I'm in my workout clothes and we're having a team meeting, but I feel happier talking to you right now when I do have a little bit of blush and some style added with the accessories. It definitely makes a difference.
Yeah. And you know what? We just recently, and you were the one who helped me with that, with the Latasha James podcast. And we were talking that for freelancers, that even if you work from home, it's important to still get dressed for you. It's all about really helping you look and feel your best. So I'm glad that you walk the walk and talk the talk, even though you're working from home too. I think that it's really fantastic. And I love that you also talk about how that you've transitioned from what you used to wear every day in the corporate world to still looking and feeling your best through other means and other ways now that you work from home too, even if you don't have to wear the suit every day. So it's nice being able to have that flexibility of things.
Right.
All right. Well, I am super excited that you were able to join me this afternoon. I also want to know, though, what is your favorite piece of jewelry and why?
So my absolute favorite is my wedding ring, and I don't think the video will do it justice, but it's a double halo, and my husband actually, when he was deployed in the military, he had it all planned out just by computer. He was by email. He was on his computer, and they were planning it all out with a local jeweler from his hometown in Maine. And I said, the only other piece of jewelry besides accessories that I wear every day is a ring I got when I was 16 from my parents. And so I wanted my wedding ring to be amazing. And it was amazing, but he said, well, what do you want for your band? And I said, I would love an extra halo and the band. So needless to say, I got it. So it was, I wear it every day and I just love it. But except when I go to the gym, I do take it off because I worry with weights and that sort of thing. But that's my favorite.
And that's always a very important thing. Actually, we've got some jewelry care articles up on the VMM site also. So I'm glad that you mentioned that also, because something that we take very seriously here is making sure that you care for your collection, whether it's fine or it's faux. So we always want all of these pieces. And I learned something else new from you. So you have another ring that you wear, and I think that would technically be vintage then too, or very close to it.
So this is my birthstone. It's got little diamonds on the side, and It's just a simple, can't really quite see it, just a simple heart. And, I'm big in family heirlooms, but my mom's side of the family, my parents are divorced, they are not really into sentimental things like my dad's side is. So I said, okay, I need to start collecting things. So this ring I'll pass down to my future daughter when she's 16. And it's great, when you think of a piece of jewelry that is your favorite piece or sentimental to you. I look at this ring and I think back to when my parents gave it to me on my 16th birthday and where we were in North Carolina for a weekend getaway. Those memories are they're priceless.
And every time you put the ring on, that's what you feel, right?
Oh, totally. And they're close with me always. So it's great.
Oh, I love that. Those are the kinds of warm and fuzzy feelings that I love receiving. And I love when people either tell stories about their own jewelry that's important to them, or if they find something even here at the collection that reminds them of somebody from their past or a happy memory or things like that. Because it's really, truly, that's what it's all about. It's about the joy of jewelry and not just how it makes us feel, but the memories and what we're looking forward to in the future. You've got special things that you're looking forward to in the future too. So I think that that's awesome and amazing. Well, we're going to get ready to wrap up here in just a minute. So what I would love for you to talk about before we leave is that you are a very special person that has come into the Vintage Meet Modern Styling Society, which is our private Facebook group. We also have a link in the comments here and a link up above to join. But as somebody who also helps facilitate that community, can you talk to us a little bit about why you think it's special and what you love about it? Because you're also running the challenge that is going on in there right now, which we haven't done a challenge in like 2 years. So now is a really great time that if you're even interested, if you're even just dabbling in the thought of maybe either joining a community or learning more about vintage jewelry, tell us about why you love it.
The number one thing that I love about this group is it's not just about jewelry. It's the feeling that you get when you check into the group every day and you see the other posts. If a member comments, oh, I was having not a really good Monday, but checking in with you ladies and sharing the joy of jewelry together and hearing the stories behind your pieces and where they go and your experiences with them and your memories, that's what really bonds people. So your Monday could be brightened with, honestly, a simple check-in with the group and bonding with the other members. Plus, the members are from all over the world even. So being able to connect with somebody halfway across the world and bond and share those thoughts and feelings and special things that you love about jewelry, it truly brings everybody together.
Yeah, it is. It's a very special place. We have over 2,500 members, and I feel very lucky that we continue to be able to facilitate such a really wonderful, supportive community, because it really is about more than just the jewelry. It's really about helping you look and feel your best. The jewelry is the icing on the cake. It's nice that there's something for everyone too.
Right. And the fact that, again, another member might open your mind to wearing a piece a different way that you never thought of, like pairing it with a jean jacket or a different way of wearing it on your blouse that you weren't sure how to style, or even a funky pattern outfit and pairing it with a brooch when you thought, well, this doesn't necessarily need jewelry, but it does add an extra pop. So it's nice seeing how people style things too.
My personal favorite is the way that I feel like we're our own little secret society. I feel like we could all take a look at a woman out there, and even though we all have our own individual pieces, know that we're all wearing something that bonds us all together.
Yes, and that's true. And speaking of that, when we have new collections that are getting ready to be released, I immediately think of certain members in the group and say, oh, I know Rhonda, or I know Michelle will love this piece, or this would look great with another lady's outfit that she recently posted. So it's cool that a lot of these special women come to mind too.
Oh yeah, the stylist in me can't help but walk either by things that I see in the store, or even when I am putting together and meeting people and putting the collection together and everything. We already do. We already have a special woman in mind for it, and we know that it's going to be able to make a big difference in their life. Even if it is just cheering them up on a Monday, or maybe it's really setting them up and helping them look and feel their best to give a presentation to the entire world or something. It's really cool because we have a lot of very special women in our group too, who I know are working very hard to change the world too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so I really, truly want to thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for you taking time out of your busy day to tell us about you. I want to encourage everybody to get to know you by either later catching the replay of this or reading all the show notes that'll be put on over at the Vintage Meet Modern website. And also, I really want you to join the group, everyone who's here, because you get to see all the amazing women that also work behind the scenes here. Like I said, we've encouraged some people to start wearing more vintage jewelry too, which is pretty darn cool.
Yes, I agree. It doesn't matter what age you are, how you look, we can all bond together over the love of vintage jewelry and truly incorporate it in your modern style, no matter what your style is.
I love that. So I think that we are going to close with that. It has been an amazing time getting to know you better. I love all the things that you choose for yourself too. Personally, I want to wish you the best. We also strive very hard to put the personal back in personal shopping here at Vintage Meet Modern. So it is true. We're all going to be praying for you, for the health and the well-being of you and your baby. We're also going to be praying for you on your continued journey of being with all of us here on our Joy of Jewelry journey. And I can't say enough, but you truly do emulate sparkle and style everywhere you go, which is exactly what the Vintage Meet Modern woman is all about. So thank you very much for sharing your story, taking time out of your busy day. And I'm lucky because I get to see you all the time, but the rest of you, I'm inviting to come on over to the private Facebook group so that you can get to know Kaitlin a little bit better also. She picks and posts her favorites in there pretty often also. So there is truly something for everybody.
Yes, please come join. I would love to get to know all of you better.
I know. And how much better can that be? We're all here to support all of you too. So with that being said, I'm Veronica Stout. I'm very grateful to have the lovely Kaitlin here joining us today. There are lots of ways for you to be able to stay in touch with us and lots of ways for you to be able to add some amazing pieces to your own personal collection too. Just reminding you that it is always truly about you looking and feeling your best every single day. That is what we are here to support you with. So take time to celebrate your inner sparkle so you can truly let your personal styles shine. And I will, and Kaitlin will, see you all again real soon. Have a great afternoon and rest of the day. We love you and take care till next time.